Okay, well, everybody, we are on our final video of this Dev Diary series, and we're just going to add in one final bit of detail that I think will really help spice everything up just a little bit more. So let's dive into the world of adding in some tape to this box. I'm going to start with a new element layer. And for this element, I'm going to use the plastic sheet blue. And I chose this one because it's got quite a bit of normal variation that we can go ahead and modify here with like large folds and medium folds, and also how the roughness is with stains, which is really, really wild and cool. They also have some dirt in here that if we turn that up, we can get some variation on the dirt. And we can also do this additional bit. There's just a lot of control inside of this one element that they've exposed it. And I really enjoyed messing around with it here and through the process of making these videos for you guys. So I'm going to leave that kind of rough looking stuff there. The stain strength I'm going to turn up some more. There we go. So there's some stains. And then we're going to turn the small folds down a little bit more. And finally, I'm going to go into my layer channel settings, and I'm going to go down to the, I don't think I need metalness at all on this. I'm going to play around with the normal blend mode. I'm just going to set that to overlay, but it's a little bit too strong actually. So I'm just going to undo that, and we're just going to roll with the punches here. The one thing I know that I don't need is the base colors. In the end, I'm going to just totally crank that all the way down, so it gives it this nice plastic effect. But while I work, I'm going to leave this at about 72 or something like that. And we're just going to call this tape. Very simple. And we're going to add in a new mesh volume mask. So everything's coming full circle now. We've used a lot of these features along the way, and we are just getting really close to just calling this asset done. So we've got tape that's going to go all the way across here, which is really nice. Let's create another, let's just name this tape main mask. And let's add another volume mask. And this volume mask is going to be subtractive. So we're going to scale this down and just give it the appearance that it was taped on one side and carried all the way over, just like so. Now, if we zoom in here, we can see that this tape is kind of blurry along the edges. If we take the softness of the mask down on both of these, then we get that crispness back in. And we don't really necessarily need to utilize any of the height. It's up to you. I'll let this be your call. As an artist, you can always just go up here to this element, go back to your layer channel settings, and we're not even using the height right now, but if you just added it back in, you can see it does give you this really cool little beveled edge, which, I mean, hey, if you can use it, use it. If it's not in your pipeline, don't worry about it. It's still pretty effective as an asset to just not even have it in there. So we're going to leave it on just for the giggles because it looks pretty cool. This is going to be our tape cutout. And I'm just going to rotate this guy around a little bit on the Z, just so that it feels like it was taped uneven. And I'll even rotate it a little bit like so. There we go. Now remember, we have everything, the problem that we ran into before with stuff on the inside of the box. So we already know how we can fix this. We've already gone through the process of assigning mesh vertex colors. So if we do a vertex color mask, so we'll pick from library and just do vertex colors. And we know that we only want this to show up on red. And there we go. Everything on the inside of the box is taken care of. And then we have these two little bits here on the end that we need to fix. So let's add in our awesome polygon mask. So pick from library, poly. And we're just going to make a couple of these that are subtractive. And turn our wireframe on. And scale this up a little. And now that's clipped off. And then we're going to duplicate this one again. And just bring this up, making sure that it's scaled enough to get this top edge here. There we go. And that's looking nice. Cool. And just as a finishing touch, we're going to add in a mesh painting mask. So we're going to do mesh mask painting. And we're going to set this to subtractive as well. Now if we scroll, if you look here in the brush settings, this has got all of the brush settings that you really need for radius, fall off, spacing, all of that. It's really, really powerful stuff, standard stuff that you would see in most 2D applications anyway. You even have path oriented. If we go down here to the brush, I'm going to click on this default brush drop down menu. And this is ultimately going to pull up all of the 2D assets that I have here. I'm going to go into patterns and I'm going to scroll down to box. And box is really, really awesome in the fact that it's not just a box. It could be any of these. So you have a lot of different shapes that you can choose from. Very, very powerful. I'm going to choose a rhombus in this case. And I'm going to make sure it's not very round at all. Has no rounded edges. I think everybody is getting an idea of where I'm going with this. I'm going to increase my spacing a little. Turn that radius down really kind of right about there. And see if that's a decent scale. And we're going to click here and hold down shift and click across. And now we have a serrated edge. Now you could get really tight with this. It's up to you. Really depends on like your art style that you're going for, because that serrated edge is such a fine detail. It's not going to get noticed on the asset when it's that far away. If somebody is about this close, they would definitely see it. So it's up to you. You just need to kind of make sure that that edge is visible from a certain distance. But we're just going to leave this just so it looks visible. Hold down shift, click across, hold down shift, click across. Ready to go. And finally, we need to add one more in. And that's going to be the tape here on the sides. So I'm going to add in one more mesh mask painting. And this is going to be an additive mask so that I can paint right here like this. But we need to use a brush that works for us in this instance. So if we go down here, we need to set the softness all the way down. And I also need to scroll up here and make sure that I have backface culling turned on. So this way, when I do paint, it's only going to look at the actual face that I'm painting on. So I'm going to start it here. We want that radius maybe a little bit bigger and make sure that our spacing's turned all the way down. And just as a test, let's see if this radius is about half. It looks like it's pretty close to being about half of this overall asset for the tape. So that's going to work out great. So we're going to just go over here so it's halved. Go all the way over. Try to keep that radius. And there we go. Now we have some tape there. And do the same thing here. Holding down shift. And I'm going to, because this is a predeformed model, I'm going to click and then click over here because I know that this model kind of folds a little bit. And I did get a little bit rounded there. So I'm going to hold down control and just left drag or on up and down on the mouse. And that'll allow me to change the size of the mesh, or size of the brush in the viewport. Just to get a better angle here. There we go. That's better. And there we have it. So we go back to our tape. Let's go to our layer channel settings and we'll just crank that base color all the way down. And now we have some tape just as a nice added detail to this overall asset. And that's it. That's a wrap. That is our entire asset project. So when you do your exports here, make sure you do include some sort of dilation, and that will help a tremendous amount in the final output of your textures. But I really appreciate everybody taking the time to watch this video. We've come a very, very long way from this initial box asset that was absolutely nothing, trying it out in a layering project and then expanding on it in an element graph, then doing some finishing touches back in a layering project for the final asset. So really appreciate you taking the time to watch. Hope you learned a lot. If you have any questions, feel free to hit up the Discord community for InstaMAT. They're a bunch of wonderful, beautiful people that are very helpful and knowledgeable, and they're always available. Just check them out, and hope you enjoyed. Take care.